Hello, welcome along to Clarence Daily. We're on the banks of the mighty Clarence River. I know the Truckers' War Memorial had been in the news in the last couple of months with a lot of homeless people. They used to call it Tent City down there in South Grafton. It seems that those people have been moved on. And they're now setting themselves up on the banks of the Clarence over in South Grafton, even some in caravans under the new Grafton Bridge, between the new Grafton Bridge and the old Grafton Bridge, and even out at Junction Hill at Bunia Park. There is obviously a huge issue with homelessness in the Clarence.
We have a housing crisis. Let's not kid ourselves. And it's not just the Clarence. It's Casino, it's Lismore, it's Ballina, Tweed Heads, I think is worse again. So yeah, we are not immune, but certainly in the recent past there's been a huge spike in homelessness. We will see more of it. We have a housing crisis, and building homes is not cheap. It's not fast, and it's not easy. Approvals for land subdivisions is where it all starts. We're simply not doing enough of it, and at times when there is a proposal, there's a lot of objections that come into proposals. Now, is that a part of the process? Yeah, it is. Everyone's got the opportunity to object, but at the same time, not too far from where we're standing, Damo, there's a homelessness problem, and it is a problem, and it's something that is not political. I think everyone in every parliament and every local council wants to solve. It's not easy. It is a difficult one, and as you're right. I mean, yeah, we moved them on. We didn't solve the problem.
No.
We just moved them on, and if in this case it was moved from one area to another, at times we might move them from Grafton to Casino, or Casino to Lismore, or we need to find a permanent solution for those people that are finding themselves homeless, and the list is growing every day. I reckon homelessness is up there with the number one issue that I deal with every day in my office.
Yeah, it's quite sad that here we are in the lucky country, as we call it, and we can't even feed and house the vulnerable, yet the government sent a lot of money overseas to prop up those other countries, which is their right to do, and we need to be humane about it, but charity begins at home, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does, and sometimes it's not all about money, sometimes it is all about money, but not all the time. It's about getting the settings right. For example, under planning laws, have we got the settings right for someone to put a granny flat in their backyard? Now you might think, well, that person A over here who is homeless is not going to move into the granny flat, and that's more than likely true, but might allow someone who's in a 5-bedroom house to downsize to move into your granny flat, which frees up 5 bedrooms in the network, if you like. So, do we have that infill development settings right? Is it too difficult? Is it too costly to do that? It's an extraordinarily difficult area. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is, and I think every politician and local councillor, if there was a solution, I reckon it's one thing that would bring us all together to fix, to be honest.
Something else that needs fixing is, of course, the fuel crisis. What is the solution?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the prices have come down only because tax has been taken off. 26 cents a litre, that'll go back on at some point, although it shouldn't. What I think should happen on the tax, if we can digress, the excise should be frozen where it is now at 26 cents. And then slowly but surely, if the government is of the opinion, and I would hope they're not, but governments don't have money, they have ours, it should be incrementally increased, 2 cents a year, for example, or twice a year. If the 26 cents is put straight back on, it will be very detrimental to our economy. We are seeing inflation, nudging very close to 5%. The Reserve Bank will lift interest rates next week or not. So we'll see. So fuel is an issue. I've met with soybean producers who are harvesting now. I've met with the cane industry who aren't harvesting now, but they will from the 15th of June. I've met with the fishing industry, who it's not cheap to take your boat out to sea. $1,500 a night, and going up quickly. The sugar industry in the Clarence needs 7 million litres of diesel to harvest, to replant, to transport, to manufacture. It's a lot of diesel at $2.50 a litre. So, yes, supply is an issue. No urea, no sugar. Simple. And at the moment, well, when I spoke with Ross 2 weeks ago, they had 0 urea available to water. So I haven't spoken to Ross since, but I will on Saturday. I hope that has eased, and I hope supply chains have freed up. So where to from here? It will be interesting when, and I'd never heard of the Strait of Hormuz until recently, let's be honest. I hadn't. So what will happen when that reopens? You know, I read a very interesting article in the Sydney Morning Herald today that suggests that when it does, the world will be flooded with oil because supply chains have moved. You know, for example, in Australia, we are now getting our fuel from different parts of the world. And because of that, when the 20% hits the world market, it could collapse the price. Maybe it will, I don't know. You know. But it certainly highlighted, Damo, that we are vulnerable to the world market, and you know, we should produce onshore. We absolutely should produce onshore. Sadly, we're doing exactly the same thing now with the timber industry that we did with the fuel industry 30 years ago. Timber's going through the exact same thing today. We're shutting down a renewable, reliable, sustainable resource, which is timber. It's a resource. It's public. You know, it's a natural resource. We're shutting that down in New South Wales, but we still need timber. So we're going to bring it in on a boat from somewhere else until the boats don't arrive. We don't have timber. Like we're
all for the sake of saving a koala.
Which is good. We all want to save the koalas, but they don't need saving. You know, the government's very own independent report says that koalas are thriving in the northern rivers and mid-north coast of New South Wales. So it's all about a deal done with the Greens over preferences, and in a minority government, which the government is in, the rest is history. So we're doing exactly the same thing as in the timber industry today that we did in the oil industry 30 years ago in Australia, which we are slowly doing with our electricity in this nation as well. Yeah, you know, at some point we've got to say, you know what, let's onshore it. Let's bring it back to Australia, and sooner the better.
Let's talk about the Great Koala National Park. I spoke with Penny Sharp, the Environment Minister here in New South Wales, in regards to the national parks, or the actual Great Koala National Park head office coming to possibly Grafton. No guarantee, but she was aware of the letter.
She was aware of the letter, and that was terrific. Look, Minister Sharp and I have had many conversations about the Great Koala National Park, some of them full and frank. We have different views on it, which I respect. She is the minister, they are the government. But I would love to see the head office of the Great Koala National Park in Grafton. And why I say that, Damo, is, yeah, sure, the government's figures are a bit flowery on the tourism economy in the park, particularly, Damo, when you say the koalas are there today. So where are where are the tourists being stimulated? If it's a marketing campaign you're after, well, sure, go and market away. But we will see more job losses not replaced in Grafton and Casino too, because of the wood supply, than job losses in Coffs Harbour or Port Macquarie. Because if the government is even 10% right, there will be some kind of tourism effect. So I want those 108 jobs certainly relocated to Grafton. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to work in Grafton every day. I mean, that would be a bit crazy to think that. But I want them in the Grafton economy. I want the head office here, not too far from we are as the state office block. I'm sure we can find room in there to house them. If not, I know where there are commercial blocks available in Grafton to house them that is already built, ready to go. So, you know, I'll continue to talk with Minister Sharp and the government on that. Minister Sharp knows my thoughts on it, and and I thank her, has read my letter and knows about it. So it's good.
And publicly said that as well.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, and credit to her. I like Penny.